Valve has finally given CS2 the love it deserves and have released a huge update. And so I'm going to walk you through what's new and what you need to know about this update. Arms race mode is back and they've added baggage and shoots. I am absolutely juiced about this. Fun fact, my first 70 hours ever of CSGO were arms race. Just straight arms race. I loved it. It's like the perfect introduction to the game and how the different guns work, how the movement works. It's awesome. So I'm glad that they added this back. This mode is legendary. Unfortunately, there's no danger zone or any other fun, silly little game modes added, just arms race right now. But let's move on to stickers and skins. We got a new case. It's called the Kilowatt case. And now there are some really sick skins in here. I really like the Nova. I like the XM. This A1S is insane. This is probably my favorite. Both of the reds are super cool, dude. This AK is crazy. The colors are awesome. And this op is like, jeez, dude, this is gonna look so cool in game. Within this case is the Kukri knife, the new knife added to CS2. Now we've had access to this knife. You can go into a workshop map and use it and play with it. Now we can actually see what animations they've given it, and they're funky. They're kind of floaty and weird, but I don't know. I really like it. I think they're kind of cool how they're like somewhat inhuman, you know, and kind of bending physics. I don't know. I think it's cool. In this case, they've also introduced skins for the Zeus. Now, we kind of knew this was coming, but these skins are pretty cool, dude. And speaking of the Zeus, they made some pretty big changes to how the Zeus works in game. The Zeus is no longer a one-hit wonder. You can actually get multi-kills with the Zeus, and that's because they added a 30-second recharge to it. So after you fire it, you no longer just drop it and it's unusable. Now you can keep it in your back pocket and wait 30 seconds for it to recharge, and then you can use it again. It does take a minute. Well, it takes 30 seconds, but it feels like a long ass time. But that's a huge buff to the Zeus, actually. You can now also apply stickers to Zeus's, which is expected now that they have skins, and you can also apply name tags. Now here's where this update gets really silly, really wacky, really crazy. There's a new sticker capsule, but that's not really the silly part. The silly part is that now you have flexible sticker placement. You can put them on all different parts of your gun. You can get really wild with this. Along with that, you can now put up to 5 stickers on a gun rather than the previous maximum of 4. And this applies to every single gun in the game. So even the smallest gun, which is what, maybe a Glock, can still have up to 5 stickers on it. There's also a new music kit out. It's the night mode music kit. Now I've had these muted for about 3 years now, so I constantly forget that these exist, but if you care, it's the night mode kit. Now let's talk about the gameplay, the thing that really matters, right? Smokes now have shadows, and the rendering and animation of smokes has been improved according to Valve. And I gotta agree with them. The smokes look really nice, the animations for them look really good, and the shadows make them look even better. They look way more real now. You can use these smokes in some quirky ways to block off lights, and it also fixes the problem where you would have a person within the smoke who would cast a shadow, but because the smoke didn't have a shadow, then you could see that somebody was in the smoke because there would be a shadow from outside of the smoke. So now that's fixed because the shadows will just blend in together and there won't be an outline of a shadow of a person that's in a smoke anymore. Outside of smokes, there's now a refund all button in the buy menu, which I think is so nice. I'm glad they added this. I'm surprised this wasn't in the game when it came out. You can also get rid of tracers now. I like tracers. I'm a big tracers fan, but some people don't. And so this is just a nice little quality of life change for the game. There's some smaller changes, such as being able to reattach the silencer to a gun even if you have that setting turned off. This would be like when you pick up an A1S that already has the silencer removed. Now you can put it back on if you'd like. Player pings are also not being blocked by invisible geometry. Cool. But this one is awfully mysterious. Various adjustments to sub-tick shooting. Very broad, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sure we're gonna figure it out. They fixed the silent drop exploit that Monacy made really popular, so that's gone. Also, now you can't change your loadout while you're searching for a premier competitive or wingman match, which I think is a little stinky. I don't like that, but I guess there are issues related to changing a loadout during searching, so okay. For sound changes, it mostly focuses around the microphone. Now in settings, in the audio settings, you can now change the input device, which is your microphone, right in CS2. Before, you had to go into Windows and make it the default, and it was just kind of a headache. And you can also now test your microphone straight through the audio settings, which I think is just awesome. You should subscribe to Wilson CS2 on YouTube. Along with this, you can also change your microphone threshold, which is the minimum loudness that you need to make. You know, you need to speak a certain level for your microphone to start transmitting that audio to the other players. All of this is great. I'm super happy about that. I'm also super happy about how the M249 sounds. All right, new M249 sound. Oh, dude, this is punchy. Oh, that is. I'm gonna start buying M249 now. To me, this is the most interesting part of the update, the networking section. Valve starts off with a banger: reduced peeker's advantage in many cases. Valve just has a knob of upwards or downwards peeker's advantage. Is it good or no? This patch note is so odd to me, but cool. Like, I'm happy with that. Peeker's advantage has been talked about a lot in CS2. It's been a very big thing. It's heavily affected the way I play, the way others play, the way pros play. So I think reducing peeker's advantage needed to happen, and so I'm happy with that. They get specific in the second one. The amount of peeker's advantage in the steady state is reduced by 16 milliseconds. Now that's not a lot of time, but in Counter-Strike time, it is a lot of time. They also reduce the frequency of situations that lead to very large peeker's advantage due to excessive command queue depth. I don't know what that means, except for the part that they reduced frequency, except for the first part, essentially. I don't know what excessive command queue depth means, but as long as peeker's advantage is getting nerfed, essentially, I'm a happy boy. They also added a command that prints a report breaking down the various sources of latency, which is very cool. People smarter than me will use that and will be able to analyze the game properly. They also added an option to buffer server updates and user commands by one or more packets. So this essentially trades stuttering during packet loss for latency. So if you turn this up, you're going to have more latency, more delay in your inputs, but you'll have less stuttering if you have really high packet loss. So if you're playing with packet loss, this might be considering using. Within their UI changes, you can now have baggage and warehouse as your inspect backgrounds and your lobby background. I'm so happy about this change. In-game team only chat will now be prefixed with the team, example T or CT. So this means that it will be way less confusing whether somebody's typing into all chat or team chat, which I'm super glad about. It wasn't even that confusing, but it just really confused me. So I'm overjoyed about that. Agents that had the end of match cheer animations, I've never really thought about this too much. But agents that do a little dancey dance when they win now do a little sad curl up into a ball, oh no, we lost animation at the end of the match, which is cool, I guess. Once you've reached your XP for the week, which is 11,166 XP, you now get an XP overload status. It looks like this. It's pretty cool. I've never really thought too much about XP in this game, but I like it, and that's nice. Now, there are a lot of fixes to maps, and these are all bugs and issues that I didn't even know existed, so I'm not going to talk about them, but it's cool to see Valve fixing problems, I guess. I didn't cover the notes in their entirety. I only covered what I thought was most important, so if you want to see everything I left out, The link to Valve's full patch notes are in the description. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, join the Wilson Nation, and have a great day.